You are watching and listening to Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and your favourite podcasts.
Right, Chris.
All right. Oh, look at me. Let me make myself large. There we go. The Viagra popping it again. Good morning, in fact. Yes, it is morning. Good afternoon, good night, goodbye, good evening, good day. Hello. Welcome along wherever you are in the world. And I must admit, there's more people watching live than I thought there would be this morning. I thought me and Brad would have this all to ourselves coming out this early. But you can never trust Leicester. As Rob Tanner once said to Leicester, they always do things at the most awkward times, usually when Rob Tanner's on holiday. And he did say to them, why do you always do stuff when I'm not here? And the guy at the club replied to him, but we're always doing stuff at Leicester. We never not. This is Leicester for you, which I guess it is. But it is 11:48 in the morning. It is LTID TV from Leicester Till I Die. Thank you for joining us. If you are watching live, really do appreciate you at this weird hour. Or if you're watching on catch up. And if you are watching on catch up, you can still comment on the show. Just add it below on YouTube, any comments you wish to make. Just keep them respectful. If you're listening via your favourite podcast platform, Google Podcasts are soon to disappear. Bye-bye, Google. Bye-bye. Everything's obviously moving over to YouTube on that side. Spotify, Apple, and the rest are still going to be hanging around. Last night, it all sort of started to break. I said a little while ago that we would probably have to sell Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall for the PSR reasons. But then it broke last night that we might be swapping him, which, as Brad says, doesn't really make sense. And then, yes, indeed, Leicester's B team came in for him, apparently, and Enzo has made an offer. They've made an offer about 3 people, and that's just in the last 24 hours. Where they get their PSR rule breaking from, who knows? But we're going to talk Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. I'm going to say very, very good morning, first of all, to Andreas. Hi, Andreas. How are you? Welcome along. Are we going to be saying goodbye? Is Dewsbury-Hall going to be somebody else's Wonderwall? That is the question. We'll get him in and we'll ask him. We'll find out straight after this. This is The Transfer Show. He was bobbing away to the music at the start, and I think he was bobbing away to the music. Either that or he'd nipped to the loo. But we'll say good morning, Brad. How the devil are you, sir?
Well, I was all right until I heard until a certain angry Australian sent me the words with a post saying, "And here we go," as the classic line is. Inevitable, but very, very confusing. Very, very confusing.
You got the here we go. I got the Rudkin out. which probably was the wrong thing to send to me at quarter to midnight, to be honest with you. I did say, what has happened as Russia invaded Poland? Is that Rudkin's fault as well? But look, I think it was in jest. He's got no hair left this morning, he says, but there we go. Yeah, it all seems very, very weird. I mean, we are that close because obviously 30th of June is the new deadline because, I mean, everybody's talking about it. Clubs are desperately trying to swap players and bring players in and out to help with PSR. With 2 days to go, which is what it is basically, I thought we were pretty safe with KDH.
Yeah, it seemed that way. But every time the fire seemed to get put out, someone would come along, strike a match and reburn it and chuck some more wood on the fire. And it's just strange because I can't wrap my head around it. Because if we're trying to, and it sounds like potentially we need to raise, we need to have a bit of a big bake sale to raise it, but we need 30 million. Okay, we don't know what we managed to recoup on Enzo's compensation and what we're spending on Cooper. I can imagine at least half, if not more, of that is still available to be put towards it. If we're so desperate for, like, I don't know, let's say 20 million then. If we're so desperate for 20 million, why are we swapping him for Jakub Moder? Which, no offence, right? I've had dealings with Brighton's in the past. It scarred me for life. But my point is, why will we even consider going, oh, you can have him and we'll take Jakub Moder, who's not a bad midfielder. The Brighton fans really loved him. He was part of that McAllister partnership. But that doesn't solve the 30 million, 20 million, whatever it is PSR we need to get.
No, you're right. And it did seem a bit confusing when I first saw it. All I know is that, like I say, Sky Sports did a thing, and it was about clubs swapping to help with PSR. And I tried reading it, and to be honest with you, I think I was doing it too late at night. It just wouldn't sink in. But Geordie Toons just popped in. Morning, Geordie. And I was reading that Newcastle are having to swap players, but it's this swap thing. Whether it's wages or not, I don't know. But I can't imagine, as good as he is, Dewsbury-Hall isn't going to be one of our highest paid players because he's come through the youth system.
You don't know, though, do you? Yeah, look at the state of contracts we got offered from above and what were recommended and agreed to by, and I'm going to say his name so people get the pitchforks out ready, but the likes of Rudkin, but also Rodgers. Rodgers would have been in that, in that contract negotiation. I know Rudkin would have negotiated it, but Rodgers would have been there saying, I want this player and how much he's willing to realistically want to pay him and of what he can pay him. So we've made mistakes with wages in the past, playing ridiculous wages. And yes, he came through the youth, but he signed a contract. So how much did we offer him? And even if Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall's on somewhere between 50 to 80 grand a week, if I'm going to go top heavy on that one, I would imagine Jakub Moder's probably only on 15 to 30. I can't imagine he's not much difference in that unless it is the 30 to 80 gap. So again, I don't understand, because if you work out Dewsbury-Hall's wages, if he's on 50 grand a week, let's say, so what's that? That's 100 grand every fortnight. That's 200 grand a month.
Well, I can actually just say how true this is, because it's the internet, so we don't know, and you can go on 3 different sites.
No, the internet never lies.
But I've just found this one, Capology, and it gives basically what they say the salaries are for all the players. Now, it's got Dewsbury-Hall, and I'm surprised it's as low as they are working out here. He's on 20,000 a week, which is 1.04 million a year. I would have thought it would have been on more than that, to be honest with you.
Well, I was probably being a bit high with the 50 then, weren't I? But let's just say that's...
Oh, I think you're probably nearer, in fairness.
Yeah, but either way, that's only saving us, what, if you go off the 20 million, it's 1.2 million pounds, or if it's on my estimate, it's saving us just over 2 million pounds. So again, I don't know. I got a steady grade in maths, and I know maths has changed since I was a kid, and changed since you was a kid, and probably changed since the likes of Highfield, Geordie, and Andreas were kids in there. But I'm pretty sure 2 million doesn't equal 30, Chris.
I can still do boobies on it.
I bet you can.
Yeah, it does seem like an odd one, but as I say, all I know is that I did see this report, and I can't find it now. Typical, saying that clubs are swapping because June the 30th is the new deadline. Look, you likened him to Matt Piper. I likened him to Muzizic, players that didn't want to go. And he's come out. He's now kind of backtracking a little bit, if you believe the Mercury, and I know not many people do. But they're backtracking on that a little bit. But I've got to say, unlike Tielemans when he left, I wouldn't bear him any grudges because he stuck with us when we went down, like Muzizic did. All right, he's come back up, but it's the need to sell him rather than him wanting and asking for a transfer.
Yeah, and how corrupt has it got, Chris? How corrupt has it got, the Premier League? Because name me a team that wins a division, gets promoted, and then gets told you're going to break some rules, so you need to sell your best players. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but rule breaking and being in debt used to only apply to teams that got relegated because they spend lots of money trying to stay up and go down. That'd be like winning. To me, it's like I don't know. It'd be like winning the French Open in tennis terms. So I can't think of a way to do it. But like winning the French Open or whatever it is to qualify for Wimbledon, and then being told, "Oh yeah, by the way, you need to pay another £1 million on top to qualify because that's not enough." It don't make sense. You know what I mean? How can we have got promoted and then been told, "But you owe us 30 million"? Sorry, the Premier League, the tax man, because they're robbing everybody blind at the moment.
No, I agree. I mean, just to veer off just a little bit. I mean, to me, you either get every single club. I worked in the travel business, and this is how they used to do it because travel companies went bust by at least one a week in the 70s and that recession. But the travel companies used to have to pay into a ABTA, who was the Association of British Travel Agents Fund, so that if they went bust, the money was there to get people home and pay for alternative holidays. So you could very easily get the clubs in the Premier League to put into a pot that covers any club going out of business, or you just say to any club, spend what the hell your owners can afford, because we know, would Man City be doing what they are doing now if it wasn't for Pep? If they had somebody else in control, if they still had Mark Hughes or Stuart Pearce or they wouldn't be doing that. We know that Man United couldn't do what they were doing once Ferguson left. So it's all about as well getting the right manager in, and Man United have tried. Sorry if there's any Man United fans in, but they've been trying to do that for years. It isn't the manager that's bad; it's the club that's broken. So just let everybody spend, and if you can get a good manager in, fine, go for it. That's football, isn't it?
Yeah, very true. It is. Also, so the thing is, Chris, right? Is you could put all these clubs that are in trouble and sort it all out in one go. Start off with the one with the most, Man City, then work your way down, and just get it all sorted. I don't know what's more frustrating right now for Leicester fans. And in the comments, I know Geordie's in there and he's a Newcastle fan, but maybe Geordie, think of it if this was happening to Newcastle. What's more frustrating for you, knowing that your club's been promoted, but you now have to sell a huge talented asset who doesn't want to leave, who's homegrown, so it makes it even more painful for you and him essentially because he doesn't want to leave. 30 million, you've got until the end of June to do it, or I've lost my train of thought. No, that's the worst thing ever. I lost my train of thought.
If it was me, I'd blame you. I'd blame me age, but I don't know what to blame with you.
No, that's going to piss me off. I had it then. I had it.
Well, while you're just doing that, I'll just say hi to Fee. Thanks for popping in, Fee, and thank you very much for letting me know about my spelling mistake yesterday.
That was it, Chris. I've got it back.
You got it back. Come back.
What would you want? Which one is the worst case scenario for Leicester fans? Which is the most frustrating? No, we're going to have to sell homegrown talent for 30 million and try and rake in 30 million. We've got to the end of June to do it, or we're at the end of June. We're a week or bit or so away from the from pre-season and 8 weeks away from the start of the season, if that, and you still don't know what point selection you're going to get.
Yes, yeah. It's like starting a race, isn't it? It's like you start a marathon and then 10 miles into the marathon you're told, right, take a back seat, you've got to sit out there for 10 minutes while everybody goes past you. It is a bit ridiculous. And even though, I mean, I appreciate what you're saying there, Geordie, but I'm just sorry, before I come on to Geordie, I just want to say to Fee, it isn't confirmed, but then again, you did say that about Enzo or Cooper coming in when we put the show out, and the next day Cooper was signed. But I do know it isn't confirmed, but that's why we're talking about it today.
Yeah,
we talk about these things before they happen. It makes it a lot more exciting than talking about it once it's happened. And also, Fee, thank you so much. I can't spell Southgate. Well, I can, as with Brendan Rodgers. I had all the right. This is Brendan Rodgers with his players. This is me with my letters. I had all the right letters in there, but not necessarily in the right order, to quote Morecambe and Wise. But even, I mean, this is the thing. Is it Isaac, the Newcastle striker? He's being chased by Chelsea. And now this is Newcastle, who are a big club. And in fairness to Newcastle, and I love Newcastle, I think they deserve whatever they get now after all the years of trouble they had. But even they are being attacked by Chelsea, having players being, where the fuck is this money coming from? How are Chelsea getting away with it?
It's almost like the big 6 and 7 or whatever you want to call them can't be touched, Chris. I mean, Chelsea spending beyond their means. Man City are millions in debt. Man City are buying 600 players and not having to sell anybody, but they're not breaking the rules, but they can't be dealt with just yet.
Yes.
I mean, even in jest, I'll sympathise. You look at what's happened to Sheffield United now; they've got relegated. They're, and then that's the warning signs, folks. This is the warning signs, right? Because it's happened to Everton. Okay, they survived, but it doesn't mean it won't happen again to them down the line. The Premier League are putting a squeeze on us little teams, and they're not wanting anybody else to get involved in that. Not even Newcastle. They don't want Newcastle involved. I remember distinctively, I think it was last season, hearing Eddie Howe in a press conference when he was asked, why aren't they making transfer negotiations? And he got told, I can't, we have to stay with an FFP.
Yeah.
So
I got to say, totally
relegation could lead you to League One.
Yeah.
At this rate, wouldn't it?
Total respect to Newcastle for not going out and just buying everybody they can do, because that would have been very easy for them. And they've tried to sort of grow organically with that bit of money. I grant you. But yeah, I mean, easy gamer there. Hi, Doug. How you doing? I'll come to your comments in a second. Dewsbury-Hall is a must keep. Look, if let's say, for example, we get docked, and look, we've no idea. It can be 6, it could be 15, who knows? But let's say we get docked 9 points, right? If we sell Dewsbury-Hall, and I don't think that would clear the debt totally, but that money would maybe sort of take us down and reduce our PSR problems by 20 million. So we, instead of getting deducted 9 points, we only get deducted 4 points. And we managed to stay up by 3 points or something like that. That would then be a good deal. If we hold on to Dewsbury-Hall, hoping that we can stay up, and we still get deducted the 10 points, but then we get relegated and we're 11 points off, we'll be going, why the fuck didn't we sell Dewsbury-Hall?
I mean, it's going to be a catch-22, whatever happens, won't it? Whether we, whether we sell him or keep hold of him. Look, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but this is going to happen.
Yeah.
And the reason I say this, and yes, yes, I know it's nothing official, and people might say, yeah, well, Romero tweets it, but not every deal he tweets about happens. We know that it's happened. He's one of the most reliable journalists, but even he gets things wrong or things happen. But also, Chris, usually he's right because it ends up being a breakdown of communications. Look at the was it Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Geordie, that you had and then didn't have because of whatever reason. That was a deal that was going on. So when he's wrong, he's not wrong. It's more something's happened to stop that transfer from happening.
Yeah.
But also, Chris, I said this backstage. This is like this story about Dewsbury-Hall has been like one of them trick candles. You know, the ones where it don't matter how much you blow them out, they're still relight. It's been like that. The Chelsea rumours, he's always spoken admirably. He said he's the best coach he's worked under, which tells you what he thought of Brendan.
It does actually, doesn't it? Yeah.
And it's always a cliche, isn't it? It happened with O'Neill, and we love O'Neill, but he took Lennon, he took Guppy, I think he took someone else with him when he went to Celtic. So this is a natural occurrence that some players would rather stick with a manager that they like if they're going to have to move on. And again, if he wants to move on, it's not he doesn't. I don't think he does, and I think he's come out and reiterated the fact that he never wanted to leave, but it's just something that I just can't see not happening, Chris, especially if we need money.
I mean, I think that the thing that surprised me, not that this was going to happen, because like you say, I've been saying from the get-go that this will happen because he is, whatever we say, our most sellable asset. We're not going to get that sort of money for Daka or that sort of money for Suter or anybody like that. He's our crown jewel, so we're going to get the most money for him. It surprised me about the move with Brighton, like you said, Brad. I don't see how that helps us, but apparently with all, I say, coin to spy transfers, swapping players does help. But Rob Tanner, Rob's a good friend of the channel. Oh, excuse me. Again, he doesn't tend to report things unless they're pretty much there's smoke there, if you like. He's not. He isn't a Leicestershire Live or a Sun or a Daily Star. He's one of three journalists: Rob Tanner, Fabrizio, and John Percy. If it comes from those three, there's usually a bit of a smouldering fire somewhere. And the Athletic is reporting today, or last night, Chelsea contact Leicester City over Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall deal. So there is something, like you say, Brad. No, it's not all confirmed, but something is going to happen. What Dewsbury-Hall's got to do, I think, and as Andreas has said there, will it be Brighton or Chelsea? And that's the thing that he has to decide. If he goes to Brighton, it's a sideways step, if you like, because are Brighton any bigger than us? No, I don't think they are. They're up there with us. I'm not going to argue with that. But if anything, probably a little bit smaller. But he will still be that big fish in a small pond. If he goes to Chelsea, he'll get a lot more money. He'll probably get a 30-year contract. But he will be a little fish in a very big pond. Is he going to get regular game time? Yes, Enzo is there. But again, how in all these rumours, how much is Enzo getting involved in that? So Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall's got to say money and a very big club. And let's be honest, with whatever we say about Chelsea, we know that. Or Brighton will still be kind of the big fish, but unlikely to be picked for England, etc., etc.
Yeah, and if he wants to match his ambition, he has to make that decision himself. I think if you was to ask him right now, pick Chelsea, Brighton, or stay and fight with Leicester, I think there's no shadow of a doubt he's fighting with Leicester. But if you told him he's got no choice, I think, although you say I know what you mean when you say sideways step in his career, I'd also say it's probably the best opportunity for him. He has ambitions, a bit like Maddison did when he was with us, where he wants to make an impact on the England squad. He wants to give the next England manager, please God, let there be a next England manager, not a continuation.
And if you wonder about that, check out the Southgate show we did last night. Me and Brad, actually, we sleep in the same house. We're just in different rooms. We just left each other last night and found each other this morning.
Yeah, you right, Chris?
Yeah, hi, mate. How you doing?
But yeah, so if he wants to do that, he's going to have to do it at the Premier League. And for me, rule breakers FC. I mean, Chelsea FC have, 8 billion midfielders?
Yeah.
All demanding first-team football, whereas Brighton have been shot to pieces a little bit themselves, haven't they, Chris? They lost McAllister to Liverpool. They lost Moises Caicedo, and their fans are probably a bit more accepting of Caicedo because he threw a hump, then signed a new deal so that they could actually get money for him in the summer. So that, kind of fairs to him. He kind of redeemed himself there in that sense. So they lost a lot. Cucurella,
Yeah. Oh,
again, all these players poached by Chelsea.
Well, this is what I'm going to say. I actually had a conversation with a Brighton fan, different Brighton fan, but and we were both crying into each other's arms because we both hate Chelsea. Well, if he goes to Chelsea, have a load of mates that he knows there.
Yeah, true. But you know what? This is a message to Chelsea's expert scouting staff. Grow up and get your own ideas.
Yes. But then
they're probably earning more than some of our players, Chris, and they can't even bother to scout their own any other talents. They just go, "Well, pinch you, we'll pinch you, but pinch you." Grow up.
Would Chelsea have taken the gamble on Kante? No. Would Man City have taken the gamble on Mahrez? No. We take that gamble because we've got to, because we can't afford to pay £65 million for one player. Yes, 40 million has been splashed out for Tielemans and Slimani, but we're not in that sort of bracket. And then obviously they can come along and go, well, actually, he's a good player. Do you want 80 million for him? Oh, yes, please. Well, thank you very much. Here you go. I do get your point, definitely. Like I said, they are. But this is what Rob Tanner is saying this morning. Chelsea have contacted Leicester City to express an interest in signing Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. No formal offer has been made yet, but the 25-year-old is believed to be only keen on a move to Stamford Bridge if he is to leave his boyhood club. His contract at the King Power runs until 2027. So that is the big thing, isn't it? There's a huge, long contract there. It then goes on to say he's a perfect fit for Enzo play. Yes, of course he is. We saw that last week. He made 49 appearances in all competitions last season, scoring 12 goals, and I think he assisted in 14. Big loss if he goes. And fair play to him. He said it's only Chelsea. I don't understand why, but there we go. I mean, if he was to go to Man United, he'd get more game time than if he went to Chelsea.
Yeah, probably. But again, the law of Enzo being there, the words he said about Enzo, it's probably a big chance that he's going to be the golden child, if you're, the student that turns up with an apple on your desk for Enzo because of how highly he rated him. No, we didn't get Winks on a free. It was kind of like what we're doing with Dewsbury-Hall and Jakub Moder. We're gonna get we got a bit from Maddison more than what we expected, but we actually then get them it was like we gave them a cash back of 10 million, like Chris has said there.
Yeah.
So we got 40 million initially from Maddison and then gave them 10 million back.
Yes. Which was probably not the most we could have got for him, but needed to be expedited at the time.
Yeah. Now, I'm gonna put out another theory though for Leicester, right? Because like you said, Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall's contract is 27. He doesn't really want to go unless he's forced out the door, which it sounds like we're going to do, right? Bologna want Christensen, but aren't willing to pay the money that we're demanding for him. Why don't we just cut our losses? Take the 12 million that they're apparently keep persisting, because I keep seeing that persist. That they don't want to pay like the 18 or 20 million that we're demanding, but they want to pay 10 to 15 at a push. Cut our losses. Samaro probably doesn't want to come and play for Leicester. He probably wants to move. Probably will only be about 8 million. Cut your losses.
Yes.
If we're this, I'm sorry, Chris, but if someone said to you, Chris, right, you owe me. Right, let's say I'm a loan shark, right? Scary thought. I know. I don't even look like a shark, or I could afford it. But I said to you, Chris, 30 million, mate. I want it by the end of June, right? And you had one beautiful replicated Premier League trophy like you do in the background, and that was worth 30 million. Just to give the hindsight evaluation, right? You really didn't want to give that up, right? You really didn't want to give that up, but you had 4 or 5 other little bits of collectibles that, okay, it'd be nice to maybe see their value could increase over time, but essentially you could sell them and probably get about 40 million. So you've got there's 30 million for me, you got 10 million for yourself. Why are you insisting on trying to sell the Premier League trophy when you can get them little bits sold for a cut price? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why bite your nose to spite your face? As it is,
Oh,
it feels
no,
like that's what Leicester are doing. I feel like we have more.
I agree 110%, but I'm going to go throw 2 things back at you. First of all, number one, yes, you do look like a loan shark. And number 2,
That's the money, Chris.
let's say we keep Dewsbury-Hall, and this all right. We don't know what's going to happen. This is just throwing up in the air and seeing what lands. But we keep Dewsbury-Hall. Comes on, we're playing Tottenham on the opening Monday night. He gets a broken leg and he's out for the season.
Well, that's just fucking sod's law, mate. That could
It
happen.
is, then we'll be sat there thinking, fucking hell, we should have. Look at Fofana. As much as we didn't want him to go, hey, he's hardly ever played for Chelsea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, you know, I just apparently Chelsea, it says here, have an agreement in principle to sign young forward Mark Guiu from Barcelona, while they're also close to completing the signing of defender Aaron Amasolino from Boca Juniors. I mean, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? It's absolutely bloody ridiculous. Let's just see what the Mercury are saying. Because in an initial post to X, formerly Twitter, he stated this was, I think, Fabrizio, that the Foxes had agreed to a cash plus player swap deal with the Seagulls. So, again, that wasn't very clear, I don't think, in his post, but just checking what I've written at the bottom there, if it is 25 million plus whoever it was, Moder, again, actually, that wouldn't be a bad deal, would it?
No, and again, knowing that there's a cash sum to it, it now makes a lot more sense.
Yes, yeah.
It makes a lot more sense because Jakub Moder is quite a versatile midfielder. He played. I'm not saying he was a small fish in that midfield of Casado and McAllister when they were there, but he was very reliable. He did the grafting work. He got a few goals. He contributed, and the Brighton fans had a song for him. They loved him actually.
Yeah.
We talk about stealing things. Well, the way they sing the song about Jakub Moder is the same song we use for Mavididi. So they always sung his praises, thought highly of him. Hard worker, a grafter, and I would, if you said to me right now, gun to my head, right? Do you want him to go to Chelsea and you get 35 million, 40 million, whatever, or do a Madison and Winks and swap and get a bit less? Go Brighton. Please go Brighton.
Having read that, and that said that was on this morning's update, so that wasn't on last night. And I don't think that was particularly clear in the Fabrizio post. But yeah, if you're going to give us 25 million and Moder, snap your hand off now. I'd bite it off up to the elbow. I mean, yes, you don't always need. Oh, it's good to have players that can turn on the style a little bit. But look at Robbie Savage. Would you sooner have him in your team or playing against him? I'd sooner have had him in my team because, like they said, what was it O'Neill used to say to Robbie Savage? Don't try and play football. It's your job just to get your foot stuck in and pass it on to somebody who can. You need a player like that. And if that's Moder and we get the 25 million, I'm actually quite pleased about that. I would take that. And remember, if Faith has a decent Euros to sell price, I hope he goes. I've said that in the past. I'm not
The
a
problem
Faith.
is with Faze, you can't account him to this because obviously, we won't be able to get him sold in euros. But I actually like Faze. I'd keep him, but yeah, that's another show for another day.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, I do think the bright lights. Apparently, just reading here, sorry, Moder. Now, however, at this point. Let me just go back a bit. The Brighton player was said to have given the green light as both travelled for medicals. However, it was only at this point that Chelsea stepped in to make a concrete inquiry of their own, changing the face of the deal entirely. Romano later suggested this arrived as Moder was midway through his medical tests at Seagrave. Interest. I mean, I don't, again, look, you don't know how much to believe, do you, on Leicestershire Live? But
It's Leicestershire Live. They're still reporting about Heskey going to Liverpool. They're like crap at making up stuff.
Craig is in. Hi, Craig, on his work account. Naughty, Craig. If anybody can't sleep, by the way, do get over and check out ERO videos. Yes, honestly, I'm not saying Craig's got a boring job, but his videos do make England Slovenia look like a nail biter. We just leave it at that. He loves me. And don't forget, Tuesday we'll be back with two men down the pub. Look, this is going to go on and on, isn't it, Brad? I don't know. I mean, Sky are saying Chelsea and Brighton target. It is the silly. I'm surprised it's taken so long, and I guess that's because of the Euros for it to get to this stage, really, with everybody leaving. But my biggest worry, not the fact that Dewsbury-Hall's going, because I know, like I say, when he messaged me yesterday, Luke, God love him, I'm like, it was going to happen. I kind of had resigned myself to this. Problem is, if we lose Dewsbury-Hall, and then we also lose Ndidi.
Yeah, although it has just gone on. I've just seen a post from, I think it's Foss Hub on Twitter, because I'm not calling it X, it's stupid. That apparently Wilfred Ndidi put a post up on Instagram, and Steffi Mavididi has commented underneath it saying, "Get the paper sign, man." So hopefully that'd be one positive. If you said to me right now, Chris, Brad, if you said to me in an hour's time, Brad, get your ass back home, we need to do a show because we've got 2 bits of breaking news. Jakub Moder's joined Leicester, Dewsbury-Hall's gone for 25 million, and indeed he's signed a contract. I'd be a happier man than what I am right now, thinking about Dewsbury-Hall playing for someone else.
This is the thing, because like I say, to start the season without an attacking midfielder, and I don't know if you can call Sumari that. And look, we've got to say, and I know why you were saying it, but we were writing off Christensen, we were writing off Sumari, we were writing off Vestergaard. A new manager comes in, it can change players' careers, can't it?
Well, it did with Vestergaard, like you said correctly, and again, and again, I'm not saying that Sumari and Christensen and that aren't players that I see as valuable or have any talent, don't have any talent, because I do. It's more the fact if we're so desperate and you're giving me a choice between cutting a loss but selling these players and getting the money we need over losing a homegrown player, for 30 million or 25 plus a swap deal, which is probably what does take us over the threshold, then I know which one I'm rather having, Chris. Don't get wrong. Dewsbury-Hall could go to Brighton or Chelsea. We could get our money in. We could keep on DD, and Chris, and Cooper might say, we've got on DD, we've got Winks, I've got Sumari, I've got Christensen. I want these players on my team because I like how to play. We're going to play a style that suits these 5-6 players, and we could survive. Like bet the devil you don't. It could end up being a blessing in disguise in the horriblest way to Dewsbury-Hall, that he goes and all of a sudden 3 players get an opportunity and it works.
You need that first domino to fall over, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
And just to say, Manchester Evening News, who was a local paper, in fairness, are probably more reliable with their news. They don't just copy and paste it. But apparently Man United could be sniffing around as well.
Yeah, but Man United are like that desperate bloke at a house party sniffing around everybody, even the men at some point. So, you never know, do you?
There's a horrible thought I've just got in my brain, but I'm just seeing if there's any other updates on this at all. No. No, it's all going on about. I mean, out of the whole, apparently Brentford could still be in there as well. But these are all links from the likes of Foss Hub, who basically are just like us. I don't know if they've got any contacts at the club. I'm presuming not, and they are just a fan thing. But it would be great if that can be found and confirmed, that tweet. That would be great. I'm sure that is one of Cooper's first things that he's got to go in and sort out, though, to be honest with you. Hang on, Geordie's saying Fabrizio.
Yeah. Moder has already completed first part of his medical velocity. Oh, it's 13 hours ago and it's wrong. Yeah, I'm just trying to look for it now.
I'm just going to Fabrizio's. I have it starred. I'm on it that much. Oh, here we go. 2 minutes ago. Understand swap deal between Leicester City and Brighton for Dewsbury-Hall is set to collapse. Despite medical booked, the deal is currently off after Chelsea call yesterday evening. Dewsbury-Hall waiting for Chelsea. Chelsea FC want to include players in the deal.
So does that mean we're going to get some players?
Well, as part of the deal, by the sound of it, yes.
Right, here's one for you, Chris. Here's one for you. Who's taken a back seat at Chelsea since the rise of Cole Palmer and that? Paul Gallagher.
Yes.
Conor Gallagher.
I'd take him in the drop of a hat. He'd probably think if I move to Leicester, that's the end of my England career, though. But although you never know under a new manager. Easy says here, I can never pronounce that. Mudeke, is it? Is that how it's pronounced?
We'll go with we'll just call him Deke.
Deke. We'll go with that, won't we? We'll go with that. No, this could all happen. Anything can happen in the next half hour. Showing my was that Thunderbirds? No, I don't think it was it? But look, anything can happen. But I think we've got to be resigned to the fact that Dewsbury-Hall, it is gathering pace. This a lot of the confirmed details. I don't know. Let's have a look. Has John Percy put anything out? Look. He's got a bit on Sven Goran Eriksson. Get well. Well, he's not going to get well, is he? But all the best to Sven. No, he's not put anything out at all. Which again is why I tend to believe him a lot, because he doesn't just stick stuff out for the sake of it. But,
no, he doesn't.
No.
Geordie joined out ideas and who's got a spot. Love that, Geordie.
Yeah, that's the joy of doing the show. Not we're blokes, we don't multitask, So, but thank you for that, Geordie. Yeah, he's going. We've got to get used to it. It's a case of when, where, and how much, I think, is the deal. But yeah, there's some Chelsea. I mean, here's a thought for you, Brad. If he goes to Chelsea, they want to throw some players in. Cassidy. Yes. No, we hadn't thought of that one, had we? That just suddenly came to me.
The word's plural. They want to chuck some players in. So, just because it's Chelsea, 30 million, Dewsbury-Hall, we'll get 30 million and we'll take Moder, we'll take Cassidy and Conor Gallagher, please. There's the deal.
Makes sense for Leicester, though, doesn't it? In our predicament, with this PSR to get our, not saying best player, but one of our best players off the books for cash, which will help, and then get some other players in, presumably for no cash, because it's part of the deal. Yeah, I mean, for Chelsea, it works out 60 million straight up, which we would have to take that over a period of time, although it would all go into the current period, of course, but that would be broken down. We wouldn't just get a check for 60 million, although we do get a couple of free nights at one of their hotels, apparently. But if they said, look, okay, 30 million, but we're going to give you 3 players. I mean, from Leicester's perspective, yeah, I'd have Cassidy back.
I'd take him back. I thought he was just coming into his stride before they called him back on his loan, which was absolutely pointless. That's why he should have stayed with us. But there we go.
Enzo liked him, didn't he? So he may be.
Well, you know, let's see what happens. It's interesting that Fabrizio has said the word players. I mean, I would say that's probably some young prospects that they want to get off their books. But yeah, I mean, the only problem is Conor Gallagher's at Euros, isn't he?
Yes.
And this deal needs to be done before 30th. Well, the end of play on June 30th. So
and I'm guessing there are bigger fish out there that are chasing Gallagher than Leicester.
Maybe just a smidge. Maybe I'm just living a little bit of a pipe dream. But
well, this is the thing, isn't it? And again, although Cassidy may look at it and go, what are my chances? You know, I was recalled back for 17 minutes worth of football for the rest of the season. What are my chances here? Look, it's silly season, isn't it? It's all going to go on and on and on, you know. But no doubt we'll probably be speaking this afternoon if it all comes off, what have you.
No doubt, mate. No doubt.
But thanks to you for joining us this morning. Really do appreciate it. And thanks to everybody else that's been in the chat and getting up this early to join us as well. I will speak to you, no doubt, very, very quickly, Brad. Do get over, check out Brad's channel, LTID TV 2. He's going to be starting doing women's football. Although there is that Perth Cup or something, isn't there, that Leicester City women are in?
Yes, I totally know about that. And
I didn't know about it because I saw Perth Cup and sent it to Luke. Apparently, there's us, West Ham, and there's a few other clubs. Perth, I guess, are in it as well. But it was on the. It was on. I only saw it because it came up on the new app that they have. But and now I've lost it. But apparently, there is a competition going on pre-season in Perth, Australia, starting September, I believe, but finishing before I go over there. Bloody typical Leicester. Finishes about a week after I arrive. So we don't know. You may see something on that. That's obviously up to Brad. And of course quizzes as well. Brad, have a great rest of the day, mate. I know you've got some go and collect some money from people that owe it you.
Oh, I don't know if you saw that, Chris. I haven't seen anything official. Oh no, it's all right. It's on comeonleicester.com on Twitter. But apparently Wilfred indeed he is set to extend his contract at Leicester, but we'll see.
Oh. Again, come on, Leicester. They're just another.
And Jack tweeted it yesterday.
Who say?
Jack, final whistle, he tweeted it yesterday, and it's the source has come from at editor ANS. I don't know how reliable that is, but yeah, could be some good news on the horizon for Leicester if they are to lose the Wonderwall.
Yeah. It says here why this is Leicestershire Live. Why Leicester City want Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall and Jakub Moder swap transfer as deadline arrives. Visions of rotting away. How Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall may feel over Leicester City transfer. Ooh, he could rot away at Chelsea, couldn't he?
Well, time will tell. I hope you know what, Chris. Like you said earlier, I hope he doesn't. I hope he has a successful, a bit like Madders at Spurs and Barnes obviously at Newcastle. You know, I hope he has some form of successful career. I don't want him to win anything at Chelsea, but if he has a successful career and gets an England team through it, why not?
Yeah. And if you read anything that says Leicester City midfielder wanted for free transfer by Boyhood Club, that is Dennis Pratt and Anderlecht, by the way, because he's on a free at the end of this month. Brad, all of these transfers will just run and run and run. We will become best bosom buddies, I'm sure, before the season kicks off. Not that we're not already, of course. But your link is in the description below, guys. Get over and give Brad your support. He will always wear it. And I will speak to you very soon, mate. Take care, buddy. Thank you very much.
Cheers, boys. See you later.
Thanks a lot. You see, he's looking there for the updated news whilst we speak, as indeed I am. But nothing is happening at the moment. But it's going to be happening, I'm sure. Look, if you are wondering, and I'm sure a lot of you do wonder, because you can't help but wonder what is coming up next on the channel, let me tell you. We are back at 7 o'clock tonight, if not before then, if there's any more transfer news coming up. We are back at 7 o'clock with a review of the Euros. Me and Doug will be here at 7 o'clock, looking back at what has been happening at the Euros group stages. We'll be looking back at England. We'll be looking back at Scotland. We'll be looking back at everybody, basically. That's at 7 o'clock tonight. Do join us for then. Thanks to everybody that's been in the chat. Really, really appreciate it. If you've been listening on by podcast, your favourite podcast platform, thank you for that very much as well. Big, huge thank you to Brad for coming on this morning. And I will see you tonight at 7, hopefully. Take care, everybody. Have a good day. Remember, of course, don't do anything that I wouldn't enjoy. Pretty much leaves it wide open, doesn't it? See you later.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.